Nellie's laundry soda. So why am I showing you laundry soda? I've been using this for a while now, and it doesn't contain any brighteners. There is specifically a brightener addition you can add. Brighteners are a big issue with NIR compliance because, at least allegedly, because they can take the IR spectrum and reflect them into different colors and cause it to be extremely bright. Over here I've got my helmet set up. Go ahead and cringe at the setup, it's fine. I've been using just an old dangler right now until I've got something coming in the mail as a counterweight. And here we have a Gen 2 white phosphor PBS 14, which unfortunately I was amazed. This had a bunch of information on it, and all it took was some water, some rain in the forest. It appeared to have taken it off. Yeah, and the fake Wilcox mount and everything. So it doesn't sit very well, so I have to do various rigging to it. How was I filming? This little device. This little device right here. It's got a nice little... So you see it can go on like this. Right there on the eyepiece. And it comes down. Something like this. Now I can't go straight up and down. I guess I could have. At the time I had it crooked. I thought I wasn't able to do it, and I guess hypothetically it's plenty feasible, but at the time it was crooked. Oh well. Well, the interesting thing is it gives you a circle, it records the circle, but then it puts it in 1080 and cuts off like this part of the video. But of course, if it's canted like this the whole time, your whole video is canted. So I have to put it at about a 35-degree angle to put it back online, and then you're going to see cut off here and here though. So it's going to be awkward. It is what it is. It's really not a big deal. But if you're wondering why it looks like that, that's why. So with the ranges we were working at, we had a couple different devices. Here's the Gen 2 Plus white phosphor PBS 14 that we were working with. It's from AGM, and it has an infrared illuminator. It is a very wide flood with no focus, and it's pretty low power, and so the range is really bad on it. It was pretty much no good for the particular tests in the video. Besides, I wanted to keep it consistent anyways. I wanted to use this here Surefire V1C. I thought, hey, it's the brightest thing I got and it's going to work really well. Well, it is so bright, and it has a little bit too much flood for especially for how bright it is. It would cause a lot of auto gating on my night vision here and wouldn't work super well for it. So instead I went with this guy here. This night vision device is the Newcom Optic Stargate M, which is unfortunately no longer available. And it came with this infrared illuminator, which was designed to be attached here, but of course running around in an airsoft game I broke the attachment mount. So this has less power output, maybe about half, but it's much more concentrated. So this was bright, and it has in the center a decent concentration, but the outer part, that it's too much flood going on, so too much auto gating. This was like never an issue with that. Was there auto gating? Of course, but not enough that it blinded the stuff in the distance because of the sticks being accidentally illuminated right next to me. So, as with every good experiment, you have to explain what you're using. With the Russian camo, with the Russian light, and we're going to see if people can spot it real easy or not. I'll try to go like a 180-degree sweep. It's right there. Alright. Let's go ahead and sweep. It's right there. Alright. Let's go ahead and sweep. It's right there. Alright. Let's go ahead and sweep. It's right there. Alright. Let's go ahead and sweep. This is without IR. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and pull out the IR light. Here we go. What the hell is that? Alright. This is without IR. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and pull out the IR light. Here we go. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Alright, here we go. So we know that's where all my stuff's at. Wait, it's supposed to be a normal sweep. Did you see the clothing? I hope you didn't say it was that. Here we go. It was somewhere within that narrow band. Hope you found it. Here we go. Alright, here goes. Let me double check what I need there. Alright, one more time. Okay. Could you see them? Alright, so I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit of the review, some opinions of mine. You can agree or disagree with me. I would love it and highly appreciate it if you go down in the comments and see how many of those you tell me how many of those you struggled with, how many were very difficult for you to find, and how many of them were pretty easy. So, I got to start off with my good friend Old Navy here. I was surprised. It's all things considered, kind of the GOAT, you know. I'm not saying it's the best actually, but what I am saying is, despite it being a kind of a mediocre camo in person when you actually see it and in the daylight, it was very dark under night vision. What it kind of had, and maybe you could see it, maybe you couldn't, it's got these really repeating patterns in here. And I think these colors right here would show up as almost a white, but it was almost a good thing because with the way the leaves work, leaves reflect a lot of IR light. And that kind of made me feel like these were leaves and made it blend in. If it wasn't so symmetric, I think it would really do better. But you can clearly see, like right here, you can pretty clearly see that that repeats right over there and again over there. Very repetitive pattern, but for being a non-military camo, for just being it would surprise me. Winter, so I don't have the pants out right now. This, and now I'll admit these weren't fair tests. Like, the full body of the garment did not get shown. For the most part, when this was shown on film there during the testing, this body was mostly hidden, and what you pretty much just saw was the sleeve. It was very difficult to see. On night vision, there is one problem I think with M81, is that the sleeves here, they're very dark, and they're much brighter than this here, this body. I think that's more of an advantage than a disadvantage. If it was way too dark, like a true black t-shirt, like, not going to be good. But honestly, it just you kind of look at it and you might mistake it for a log or a stick, and the surroundings for leaves. And an issue though is the torso is not the same color, but again, you didn't really see that on the testing. You mostly just saw the sleeves. The pants also did really well. I think of all things, the pants did incredible. Even during editing, I was having an extremely hard time finding them. So, in addition, the thing I think did probably second best would be this French CCE. Now, it glowed a tiny bit, and that's probably, this is a military surplus. This is used, so it's probably been washed a few times in some brightening fabrics or something. It looks very similar to M81. I think it's a little bit bigger patterns, which is more intended for it to be used out at further distances. From what I understand, bigger pattern means the intent is to be hidden from further away. The main difference between M81 and this, I'd say, is this green right here. It's just darker. than other greens. Side by side, you can see it's more of a, yeah, it's just much darker, like a baby poop green than it is a light green. The way it was attached to the tree, there was no form or body to it either. That's another thing, is like some of these tests weren't fair because they weren't perfectly fair. I'm never gonna say that that was the case. In some cases, I think especially with the 511 multicam pants, and I think for them for sure, like, pants look really rectangular when they're just laid out on something and to hang up and dry, and when they glowed, they ended up glowing a strong rectangle, so it was pops out. This shirt, it did fine before IR. It did not do well under the IR. Maybe it's more consequence of environment or what, but it glows a little bit. It's not awful, but it definitely glows. And it popped out when when I shined a light on it. Nothing seemed to really do as bad as the Ranger Green guy over here. I was impressed with how bad this is. Under night vision, these molly straps turn almost black because they're not absorbing much of any light, and then the body of it is reflecting tons of it. So I think that almost makes it pop even more. So it's unfortunate. That shell really does glow. Maybe if the shell didn't glow, they might benefit a little, but it wasn't too good. It's unfortunate. This is an expensive and very nice garment. Like, this is cooling, great for summer. And while I am testing this, this is winter. This is late December when I was testing this. This body is excellent and cooling, and the glow, it matches. Now I'm wondering if there might be a reason. So these are polyester, and these sleeves are Teflon treated, and their Teflon treatment means that they have a very excellent water resistance. You might be looking at this Rapid shirt and like, is this water resistant? No, this is not. This needs to be moisture wicking, so it is not water resistant. So the point can be a little bit moot in some people's opinions, but it's still helpful. Like, if you start crawling in the ground in some wet mud, then it's not going to cling to your sleeves. So there's that. This Flectarn here is part of the reason I'm suggesting the Teflon could be an issue. So Sympatex is like Gore-Tex. Both of them are a Teflon based chemical that gets put onto the clothing to make it much more waterproof. So it's going to stay nice and dry. But it might be the case that it causes it to glow. That's some official Flectarn, and maybe it's used. I got my used stuff from my European surpluses over from Swiss Link. They like to bring stuff over to America and sell it here. You see, it's German, and I mean, it's pretty decent. Does a really good job in the rain, an excellent job. As far as its glow, I don't think it glowed as bad as the 511 multicam. It's probably kind of on par with the French camo here, this CCE, which is like Central Europe or something. I already forget. This is a pretty old shirt, and I'm guessing it's probably been washed quite a few times in some brighteners or something, because I believe it's just a cotton. It's pretty old from what I understand. Despite it glowed the worst out of pretty much everything. I mean, I did test a white t-shirt, not in this video though, and the white t-shirt was only a little bit worse. So his brown camo, simple camo, and it's like monochrome. That's another problem. So hopefully before my battery dies. This French here turned very monochromatic underneath the IR, which does a really hell of a job at betraying its shape. Like, oh, this is clearly not leaves in the distance, this is a physical thing, but the way it was crumpled up on the tree, like, you didn't even notice. You weren't looking, oh, t-shirt. That's another issue here with the multicam from the 511. Again, it under IR, it just loses its color, it just loses its shades, so they end up looking monochromatic like this. That fleck tarn, it kind of did too, and so I was surprised because even with that black, I thought the black might keep and separate, but it really doesn't. Sometimes black still glows, and that shocks me. I had a black t-shirt I was out there testing too, and it glowed, but like the black on these, it doesn't glow, and it actually separates quite a bit. And good old navy camo, shocker. All right.